How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today inside the Discord, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So this is what we looked like today. Right off of open, we obviously were crossing bullish on the 30-minute with the massive gap up, and this move was quite extended. I was just waiting for a pullback to get in to go long, and that really never ended up happening. We did get this 50 dip here down on the 0-day chart. I was really hoping that this would have came down right here at the 10 SMA, break below, then come down to the 50. That's where I wish that would have happened, but we kept trending up throughout the day. There was no entry to take here. I'm not playing this 10 SMA reclaim. It's nowhere near the 50. I would play the 10 SMA reclaim if price got somewhat close to the 50, then got back above the 10, but this is not a reclaim I would take. There's no trade to take here. Right at 9:30, massive candle off of open. I'm not going long on this candle because we're super extended. I was just waiting for a dip down to the 50 the entire day. And when we did get this pullback, I did not enter this 50 SMA dip. I wanted to see some sort of bounce before I got in this, because in my eyes, I was not that confident in this 50 dip, just because we were hovering around a very massive spot on the higher time frame. So if we go here, this 4-hour chart went over the last couple days. I'm telling you guys, this is a big area of resistance, and even though we did close above it, that's not that much of a significant thing. So the next candle ended up opening right here, and ended up wicking below. The 50s turned down pretty hard, and after hours we did end up nuking. So with this 4-hour 50 in mind, that 50 dip I just didn't think was gonna hold. So I wanted to see some sort of bounce first before I got in, and when we did hit the 50, we just knifed right through it, and I didn't get an entry. I wanted to see that 50 bounce before I got in. And that just didn't end up happening. I know Colton called us out in the Discord. He was lighter size on it because he was waiting for it to go in his favor before adding more, and that's that's a good way to approach these trades in a trading market. Just get your initial add and then wait for it to go in your favor, and then average up. And that's where you could squeeze out a lot of points and make a lot, is by averaging up, because if it doesn't go directly in your favor, you're it's just less risk. You don't have much size on, and if you take a loss, you take a loss. It's very small. So yeah, this 50 dip, I didn't take it personally. There's nothing wrong if you did. I just didn't feel like this 50 was holding today based on this 4-hour chart, 50 curling down. And yeah, so if we go back to the 0DT chart, which was over here, go back here, 5-minute time frame, this is what we ended up looking like the rest of the day. So I don't know why it's not letting me zoom in, but yeah, we broke below 50, and then this chart's going negative. Obviously you're not taking this negative cross, because we know the market's still bullish on the 30-minute, because the 10 is above the 50. So with that in mind, we're just waiting for the 0-day chart to go and cross again to get an entry. And that never ended up happening the rest of the day, but we did get a tap of the 50 on puts right here. Honestly, you could have taken this if you wanted. We ended up tapping this 50 right here. You could have grabbed some long, keep a super tight stop on this right above the 50, and it played out nicely. And this isn't necessarily a system trade. It is a major pivot point on the 0-day chart, and since we do have that bullish trend, in my opinion, I think it's worth a shot at giving that a try right there, and that did net some good points. Then once we came down right here, right on the candle close right here of this 2 o'clock candle, this 50, it's hard to see on this chart, but this 50 ended up just like slanting all the way down, and right there, honestly, you could have grabbed some more long, just because of how aggressive the 50 turned down, and most likely we're going to see that bounce up into the 0-day chart 50, and that's exactly what happened. So you could have caught some points off of that, but other than that little rejection here in the 50 dip, there's no other trades to take with the system. Obviously the best trades with the system are crosses, not these 50 SMA rejections on puts, but it's still an opportunity or a trade that you could take if you want, but just know it's definitely not the most probable trade there is. So this chart ended up crossing on puts, and then we went negative. That would be a lot better trade in my opinion than just playing this rejection here on the 0-day chart. But yeah, that's what we did today. That's what you could have taken. If we go to the 30-minute, this is what we look like. There was a massive reversal over, not overnight, but after hours because of earnings. You can see these contracts are sitting right at this 50 SMA. In my opinion, I don't know. I might be leaning for this chart to go negative on the 30, but it doesn't really matter what I think. It'll just depend on how we open tomorrow, because we do have this 4-hour 50. This 50 SMA is sloped down super hard. These contracts are sitting right around this 10 SMA. So either this is going to go down to 10 and bounce back up and we're going to see a big reversal, 4-hour cross, and we get a big pump, or this marks the top, 30-minute goes negative, and we see some downside. So that happens. Obviously, the market will be sent neutral tomorrow if this 30-minute chart does lose the 50. And with this massive drop, and if we do gap down tomorrow, then obviously we're most likely going to lose the 50, and 30 minutes going to go negative, and most likely we're going to be looking for a put cross on the 0-day chart, and that'll most likely be the trade if we do go neutral tomorrow. If we stay bullish, obviously you guys know what to do. If this chart, let's say, holds the 50 tomorrow morning and the puts are crossed, wait for the 5-minute chart on the 0-day puts to go negative, and that would be a really, really good long trade if we did get that tomorrow. So if we don't get a big gap down and we're sitting right around this 50 SMA, 0-day puts are crossed at open, wait for that chart to go negative to go long. That's a really good setup because that'll confirm that we're going to bounce hard off of that 50. And then if we're not crossed at open on puts, then just look for your 0-day cross on calls, 50 dip on calls, things like that. So that's pretty much the game plan going into tomorrow. Obviously, these higher time frame charts still look really good. It was earnings after hours, so that obviously will affect how these charts look like or look at open tomorrow. So really, depending on how we look tomorrow, will just be what we're going to be favored towards. So until that 30-minute chart goes negative, market's bullish. If we go negative, then market will be neutral. So that's the game plan going into tomorrow. That's what we did today, how you could have played today. Yeah, if you guys want to learn, join Discord down below. A lot of information on there on how to trade the system. That's where all the trades are shared. And yeah, that's all I got. I'm out. Peace.